welcome to Access, Rutland County's community news magazine, brought to you by our local healthcare provider, the Rutland Regional Medical Center. I'm your host, Amanda Wheeler. The Gift of Life Marathon's 12 Days of Giving wraps up just before the Christmas holiday. Coming up, meet this year's Volunteer of the Year. Plus, Rutland High students take a stand against online bullying, how their efforts forced the takedown of the after-school app. The Green Mountains are glowing white. Last week's epic storm was a welcome sight for area resorts, hoping the early season storm will make the holiday season bright. The lifts haven't stopped spinning since the nor'easter dumped more than 2 feet of snow on Killington and Pico.
This is definitely an unusual amount of snowfall this time of the year, but we're thrilled. It let us open up pretty much double our terrain. We've got glades open, and this is incredible, nice, dense snow that's going to make a really good base for the rest of the season. So it's like mid-February conditions before Christmas, so the holidays should be wonderful.
Killington opened as many lifts as possible late last week to capitalize on the powder. At Pico, lifts began cranking Saturday, just in time for skier and riders to hit the trails, still coated in fluffy white flakes.
This definitely, gives us a big spike right ahead of the holidays. So you're getting, midwinter conditions before the peak rates kick in, before the peak season and the big crowds. So it's really great for our local community. And then, looking ahead for the holidays, I do expect, a really fantastic crowd. We'll probably sell out the Grand Hotel. I mean, where else would you want to be in the world besides Killington and Pico this time of year?
Pico, known for its family appeal and terrain for every ability level, got into the holiday spirit on its opening day, helping collect food for Brock. It's just one way the resort hopes to stay connected to the greater Rutland region. The nor'easter was just the kickoff to what Killington hopes is another epic season.
This definitely helps us go towards the longest season in the East, which is always the goal. We got 199 days last year. We're hoping this pushes us to 200. We got a late start with the Indian summer, but this kind of base is just really incredible for this time of year. The snowmakers worked really hard to get us open and get us open on a bunch of terrain, not just Northridge. And they're still out there making snow. We're working on expansion, we're working on some beginner terrain, and we're pushing out towards Needles Eye and Bear for this coming weekend and for kind of the pre-holiday period.
Rutland County Roundup is brought to you by Castleton, a proud partner of PEG TV and the Rutland region. Visit us at castleton.edu. The holiday season can be difficult, especially those watching their loved ones struggle. For the Gregg family, this is their reality. Their son Jake is fighting acute myeloid leukemia. The battle began 19 months ago and continues today. On Colonial Drive in Rutland Town, neighbors gather in front of the home of the Gregg family.
We thought of the tree lighting idea that we could really just generate some funds for them to help them with the day-to-day costs that they have. And it's been great. I mean, we've generated over $3,500 to date. We really thank all of you guys for your generosity in helping them. It truly is, makes you feel good about what people can do when they come together to help each other.
At just 22 years old, Jacob Gregg has undergone more procedures and treatments than one can possibly believe. After playing a gig with his successful band, Sun Cooked in Boston, Jake told family he wasn't feeling well. A few days later, he suffered a massive brain hemorrhage and was transported to Yale New Haven Hospital in Connecticut.
And that's when we found out he had leukemia. He has a very rare form of leukemia called AML, so acute myeloid leukemia.
Since the diagnosis in May of 2013, Jake began chemotherapy and a slew of other procedures.
Got him into remission last year. After they got him into remission, they prepped him for a bone marrow transplant in October of last year, and then unfortunately it wasn't successful. He relapsed. Right around this time in 2013, it was December 23rd, we found out he relapsed. And then he's traveled, he's done treatments, trials, you name it, if you name it, he's been through it. I mean, real tough kid who's hopefully really starting to turn the corner and get back.
Expected back home this week after a long stint at Yale New Haven Hospital, Jacob will be traveling back with his parents, who haven't left his side since the diagnosis.
Gets a lot of support from his girlfriend Kayla, which is good. I mean, my parents are there with him every single day. Him and I talk quite a bit. So overall, he's doing well, spirit-wise. It's a tough thing. I mean, he's a 22-year-old kid who should be out hanging out with his friends and going on tour and performing and not stuck day after day in a hospital. So that part of it's tough, but he's very, very motivated.
Before his diagnosis, Jake was best known for his high-energy performances with his band Sun Cooked. Having opened for national acts the Dropkick Murphys and the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones, Sun Cooked was making a name for themselves. The Mighty Mighty Boss Tones held a show to help raise money for Jake and his family.
I'm constantly surprised at the amount of people who've reached out and helped and sort of without, it's not like we've gone out and asked or anything, it's amazing when people just sort of come forward and do things for us. It's just been astonishing.
Josh credits friends, family, and neighbors for helping Jake and his parents during this challenging time.
My parents have been doing just amazingly well. I can't even describe how hard it must be. I mean, it's tough for all of us, but they're there day in and day out with them. I mean, they're not home, which is incredibly hard. They're traveling constantly, and at the end of the day, I go down and visit on the weekends. I see them when I can, and I do what I can to come over here and help upkeep the house. But it's not the same when you can still go home at least a few days a week, and it's hard. They're holding up. I mean, obviously they have to, and they lean on each other a lot. And me, my brother, my fiance, we all try to do what we can to support them. But it's hard to describe what they're going through.
You can help the Gregg family and get updates on how Jake's doing via youcaring.com. There's a way to donate to help cover medical costs and the price of travel, plus updates on how Jake's doing. Sometimes it only takes the voice of a few to make a large impact. Students at Rutland High School, members of CyberU, a club formed to address issues online such as bullying through social media, took a stance against the After School app. It allowed users to send hateful and hurtful messages anonymously. Students at Rutland decided to take a stand against the app, creating an online petition. Inside the hallways at Rutland High, colorful Post-it notes with positive messages cover walls, windows, and lockers. The notes are a positive response to anonymous messages posted on the After School app.
It's upsetting to know that people wanted to do something that low to hurt other people just for no reason at all.
Members of the CyberU Club say the app caused a ripple effect inside the school. Within hours, students were in tears, hurtful messages were being posted, and students decided to take a stand.
There was kids in guidance, lines out the door, crying their eyes out because they were being so brutally attacked by this app, and they didn't know who it was. So it was literally something could be posted in 5 minutes and there would be 300, 400 likes on this one post, but nobody could see who was liking it. So it was all anonymous. It was just, you went through school and you could see people looking at you. It wasn't you didn't know who it was that posted it, but you knew everyone could see it.
The app created a conversation inside the school. From teachers and students discussing it in class to sport teams, the After School app was causing distress.
Our basketball team even talked about it, and we talked about how even if you're not posting, delete the app because you're really just fueling the fire, because by looking at it, you're giving the people who are posting the reaction that they want.
CyberU, a club formed just last year to combat online bullying, took a stand. With help from the administration, a petition was started to ask Apple to remove the app from its iTunes store. Their efforts worked. Within days, the app was taken down and anonymous online bullying was stopped in its tracks.
I think it's awesome that we can have this small idea and watch it grow and watch it make a huge difference to the point where it's taken off the App Store, and that we can it just shows people that with that small idea, if you can get people together, you can really make a difference if you believe in something.
The Post-it project was created through the negativity to highlight the positive.
It was really amazing to see all of the kids. If you go around the school, you'll see them everywhere, on people's lockers, on bathroom mirrors saying you're beautiful. Literally everywhere you go, there's one of these sticky notes, and it's really awesome because you see all these things that are so mean, but then you see all of these positive people that are coming out and they're taking the time to write on a sticky note, you're beautiful, don't let anyone bring you down, all of these really kind things. And it's okay, so we even though we have a few kids that are participating in this, look at all the great kids we have in our school that are choosing to do something better.
CyberU's advisor says she's fascinated by the club's members and the positive change they've made for not only their peers, but for kids and teens nationwide who will no longer be affected by the app.
I'm amazed. I'm still amazed each day. These kids are a great group of kids, and really they deserve all the credit because they led the charge and they got their peers to go right along with them.
The app takedown is proving to students that even from a small school in Vermont, they can make a positive change for the greater good.
The fact that we actually were able to do that is really amazing, and it's really touching because I mean, I think everyone really didn't expect like one small little club that started last year could make a worldwide impact. So it's like amazing to see like this small high school could have such a big impact. We could get the app down from the iTunes store and everything. It was amazing.
Even Mother Nature's multi-day snowstorm didn't damper the spirit of the Gift of Life Marathon. With 12 days of giving, donors had ample opportunity to get out and help the American Red Cross. With 12 location sites across the greater Rutland region, donors turned out to show their support. What began on December 2nd at Castleton President Dave Walk's home to the final day of giving at the Paramount Theater, Vermonters proved once again that despite awful weather, giving the gift of life is crucial.
I thought the storm last week was going to really damage the drive, and it actually highlights why it's better to have a multi-day event like this. Had that ever happened on when we were doing a mega drive, it clearly would have had a big impact. Because it was spread out, it didn't hurt us too much, and on most of the days last week, we actually met the internal goals, so we're pretty pleased.
Organizers say they're impressed with the turnout of the 12 days of giving. Later in Access, we'll introduce you to the Gift of Life's Volunteer of the Year. Volunteers with Vermont Adaptive will take part this weekend in on-snow training at Pico Mountain. Every year, the organization helps hundreds with varying abilities enjoy outdoor recreation like skiing. To keep Vermont Adaptive's programs growing, an art auction Sunday raised money for the nonprofit. On Sunday afternoon, art stole the show inside Liquid Art on the Killington Access Road. With tunes from Chad Hollister, folks turned out to show their support for an area nonprofit committed to making skiing and riding accessible to all.
We started doing art auctions 4 years ago to help our local community, and this year we chose Vermont Adaptive. We live in a ski town and we really like to support great local organizations, and Vermont Adaptive does a great job just trying to make skiing and riding available to everyone. And they just built a wonderful new lodge at Pico, and we really thought it would be great to support them.
Beth and husband Jimmy own the coffee house that duels as an art gallery, restaurant, and cocktail lounge. They host the annual art auction during the holiday season when folks are trying to find that perfect gift.
It's a great time of year to have an auction because people can use art as gifts, of course. And people are excited. There's a lot of great local artists, and people are so generous here and have donated a lot of wonderful work, so it's a lot of fun.
Students and alumni at Mount St. Joseph Academy are at it again this year, collecting donations for Project Help. Before students break for the Christmas holiday, MSJ students hit the streets, going door to door collecting donations to make food baskets for local families. This year, the students are spending the 18th and 19th collecting food, then making home deliveries. The annual community service project always attracts former students and parents to take part in giving back. We'll be with the students next week on Access. Every December before kids get out of school for the holiday break, the Chaffee Art Center showcases creative gingerbread houses. This year, the exhibit was featured in the gallery downtown so holiday shoppers could take a peek while out buying local gifts for Christmas.
This year there are 17 entries around the room, and a few of them are made by some of our juried artists. Several of them are made by individual children. A few of them were made during a gingerbread house clinic that Rochelle held at the Chaffee Art Center up on Main Street. One very large entry is a community piece that Rochelle did at our farmers market table a few weekends ago, and that involved about 45 individuals, and it's really fun. There's a whole village of gingerbread. And then there are a couple of classrooms. There was both a traditional classroom that entered a beautiful gingerbread house display and an after-school program that did a special architectural piece, and they were studying a Spanish architect, and they decided to use his designs as inspiration for making their own gingerbread house.
The houses are on display until December 19th. Last Friday night, 20 stores in downtown Rutland stayed open late, 12 days before Christmas, to give shoppers extra time to browse and buy. In addition to late hours, Sun Common, with an office inside Small Dog Electronics, used its space to create a pop-up art gallery. Just another fun thing for folks to get out and explore.
So Sun Common has a community outreach and education program in which we create events and other opportunities for folks to come together to talk about solar and renewable energy in our communities. And so we have, as part of kind of creating spaces for those opportunities, done these little pop-up art galleries where throughout the holiday season we create spaces where we'll hold kind of solar education workshops and then allow local artists to come in and fill the space with their work. So this is the 4th or 5th of these galleries that we've held over the last 2 years. And it's always fun to have the artists come in and hold art events, and then we obviously supplement that with our solar workshops.
The Pop-Up Art Gallery featured more than 36 paintings and photographs. It was a banner season for the Rutland Area Hockey Association's Squirt A division last season, winning the state championship in dramatic overtime fashion. Earlier this month, the winning team was recognized during a Castleton hockey game for their record-setting season.
It was a dramatic game versus Stowe, 0-0 after three periods. Hard-fought battle. Came down to overtime. We did a whole overtime period. There was only 1 minute left, and one guy came in and took the puck all the way from end to end and nailed it in the back of the net, and we won. A hard-fought defensive battle.
Oliver Hamilton netted the winning goal for the co-ed team, a team the coach says began to gel throughout the year.
7 boys, 4 girls. They really got, all of them got along together. Not too much strife. You could tell as the season progressed, they started to believe in each other. They trusted each other. They kind of knew where they were all going to be. And the passing was excellent. We had a couple shooters who could nail it in the back of the net, and a great goalie. Kristen was amazing. She had a lot of pressure on her in a lot of those playoff games and rose to the occasion.
The state championship win was huge for the team, and exactly how a big game should be, down to the very end.
It was very nerve-wracking, like biting fingernails on the bench, and then Oliver flies up the ice and then shoots and scores. It was awesome.
The boys on the team recall nearly every minute of the final game.
We had the puck most of the game, but their goalie was really good, and we just couldn't put it in the net, I guess. And then finally, at the end, I finally carried it all the way up and scored with 1 second left in overtime. So
I was just so excited about how we won it, and everyone was jumping on top of the guy who scored the last goal, and I was just really excited.
Now, to honor their success on the ice, a new banner will hang in Spartan Arena. The team says it's nice to know decades from now they'll be able to look up, see the banner, and tell their own kids about the final game.
It means a lot to me because when I have kids and they grow up, I can show them what I did, and it's kind of cool. Yeah, it's like we're making our mark, like it's there to. Like my mom told me, like once it's there, you can come back in like 30 years with your kids, and we're like, that's our banner.
Money Talks is brought to you by the Heritage Family Credit Union. Your community, your credit union. Online shopping is a major component of our economy these days. But is shopping online using credit and debit cards safe to do? With identity theft at an all-time high and major retailers over the past year admitting someone hacked into their databases for personal customer information, it's no wonder some aren't feeling too confident their information will be safe. Today we're talking about identity theft protection and the best ways you can protect yourself not only online, but also when it comes to your taxes. With the Internal Revenue Service requiring everyone to electronically file taxes now, tax fraud is easy to figure out.
Mostly from what we have seen is when someone files a fraudulent tax return using someone else's social security number. And usually the client finds out about it when we go to file their tax returns, and we can't e-file their returns. So we have to paper file their returns. None of our clients have had actual monetary losses but have had to file a form which you would do if you were a victim of this. There's a form that you would file, and it is basically this form, Identity Theft Affidavit, Form 14039, that you file with the IRS with your return saying that you really are the person, and you have to send with it some type of identification, whether it be a photo ID of a license, a passport, something of that nature, to prove that you are the person that you say you are.
Over the past year, McCormick says a lot of physicians and architects were victims of identity theft, only realizing it when they went to file their tax returns for the year. McCormick says state and federal lawmakers are looking for ways to put a stop to the issue. One move that will go into effect January 15th is that only 3 tax returns can be issued to one particular debit or checking account. In the past, there was no limit on how many returns could be issued for one account number. While the Christmas holiday is known as a time of giving, it can sometimes be more stressful than enjoyable. To help recenter the focus and give folks tips on how to make the holiday stress-free, folks from the College of St. Joe's led a discussion about staying healthy this holiday season. Inside the Speakeasy Cafe, the conversation was all about ways to stay in the present during the holiday, rather than getting wrapped up with anxiety during time with family and friends.
If you can do it, you want to cross so that your palms touch, but if not, the back of the hands is okay too. So you should start to feel a stretch across right here, across your shoulders. If you haven't felt that yet, pull your elbows up towards the ceiling.
From yoga at the dinner table to hiding presents with clues for the kids, rather than watching them tear open the package you spent time making look picture perfect, tips of holiday enjoyment were center stage. Another big theme of the discussion was balance, how to keep it for yourself and within the home during the holiday season.
Set expectations that are realistic and being able to delegate and really just, my big word, like if there was one magic word for it, is just balance, to be able to strike that balance and evenly distribute all of it, because it's a lot and it's crammed into a month or 6 weeks, which then can leave us pretty pitfalled at the other end of it.
Another tip the presenters had was to talk with family and friends about what everyone would like to do on the holiday. Maybe it isn't the time-old family traditions that's taken place every year. It just might be something new. The 6-week Body Transformation Challenge in Killington is wrapping up. Today we're checking in one last time with coaches Kyle Finneran and Beth Roberts. 6 weeks ago, 3 men and 3 women signed on to take part in the first ever Killington Body Transformation Challenge. With coaching by Killington Boot Camp's Beth Roberts and Kyle Finneran, the participants followed a nutrition plan and a variety of workouts.
Our main goal at the beginning was to show them this is how you can live your life, this is how you can be healthier, and they're going to keep these habits with them, and they're actually inspiring others too. Other people are asking them what they did, how they're doing it, and how to fit it into their life, and getting rid of the excuses that everybody has.
Sunday, participants of the challenge turned out to help Beth paint her new studio on the access road. The participants say it's one way they could say thank you to Beth for helping change their lives. 5 of the 6 participants who stayed with the program for all 6 weeks all saw results. All 5 lost more than 10 pounds and several inches. A Senior Moment is brought to you by Care Plus, a private in-home care program from Rutland area visiting nurses, keeping you safe and independent at home. We want to recognize a local senior committed to helping his community. Bobby Paquette is an avid supporter and volunteer at the Gift of Life Marathon. He never asked for recognition, but certainly deserves it. Organizers at this year's blood drive named Paquette its Volunteer of the Year. Leading donors to and from beds, Bobby Paquette is one of the most recognizable faces at the Gift of Life Marathon. Paired with a smile and warm demeanor, it's no surprise organizers picked Bobby as this year's Volunteer of the Year.
I was surprised. I didn't know I was going to get the award, and like I said, I was surprised, and a lot of people greet me and thank me, and you do a good job and stuff like that. And
always ready to help, Bobby is willing to do whatever task needs attention.
I help them when I get here in the morning, help them set up, sometimes tear down at night. Then I carry the blood to the table, and then I take a break and come back and do the same thing all over again.
Bobby says there are many reasons he likes to support this annual drive.
I like to do it, and I like to get people to volunteer too, and it's for a good cause, and to save people's lives.
And he has a message for you.
I want to say, if anybody's listening, to next year, don't volunteer or give blood.
That's going to do it for us today. If you have a story idea you'd like to share, send an email to awheeler@pegtv.com or call 747-0151. Until next time, for Access from a snowy Mendon, I'm Amanda Wheeler. Take care.